Following the defeat of King Charles I in the English Civil War, and later his trial and execution, Oliver Cromwell became Lord Protector in 1653. Cromwell was a Puritan, a strict Protestant, and made significant changes based on his beliefs. Cromwell's journey to power. Oliver Cromwell was a member of Parliament. He had been the leader of the parliamentarian army who by 1648 had defeated Charles I's royalist army in the Civil War. Cromwell's politics were strongly influenced by his religious beliefs. He was a Puritan, which meant that he believed that the Bible should be read and studied closely, and that people should spend more time praying and thinking about God. Cromwell wore plain black clothes, and this introduced laws to ban popular pastimes such as bird baiting, celebrating Christmas, and going to the theatre. Puritans believed that entertainment might distract people from their religious duties. Cromwell's leadership. Following Charles's arrest at the end of the First Civil War in 1647, there were some in Parliament who wanted to come to an agreement for him to remain as king, but with reduced power, these MPs were forced out, and the remaining members, including Oliver Cromwell, formed what was known as the Rump Parliament. This parliament carried out the trial and execution of Charles I. Following Charles's trial, Cromwell was one of the 59 commissioners who signed his death warrant. In January 1649, the Rump Parliament ruled until April 1653, when Cromwell entered Parliament with 40 soldiers and sent away MPs. In December 1653, it was decided that the English, Scotland, Wales, and Ireland would be ruled by one person as a protector. Cromwell was appointed as Lord Protector. This gave him many of the same powers Charles had when he was king. A new parliament, sometimes known as the Bare-Bone Parliament, was put together to replace the Rump Parliament. It was felt that the Bare-Bone Parliament had been too radical ideas, so they were also dismissed. In 1657, Parliament actually offered Cromwell the role of king, but he refused. He said he would not accept a role he had spent so long fighting against. Despite not taking the title of king, Cromwell had many similar powers. He had not elected into a position, largely made decisions on his own, and was replaced by his son. To help him rule the country, Cromwell had a close group of advisors to support him. This group was called the Council of State, and it was set up in 1649. The period of that time Cromwell ruled England is often referred as to the interim. This ended in 1660 when Charles II was crowned and a monarch was restored. After Charles I's execution, England was known as Commonwealth. There were still royalist supporters who were angry about the treatment of Charles. Scotland. The Commonwealth also faced a challenge from Scotland. The majority of Scots declared that Charles I's son, Charles II, was the king. In 1650, Cromwell led an army to invade Scotland. To put down this uprising, he won control of Edinburgh, but Charles II and his army invaded England and the Battle of Worcester in September 1651, which Cromwell won. Charles II managed to escape and went to the Netherlands. He stayed there until he returned to England to be crowned king in 1660. Cromwell's army killed 1,000 men, women, and children in Dundee, before occupying Scotland and leaving soldiers behind to prevent further uprising. Foreign policies. England had started building up overseas colonies before Cromwell became leader. He further increased the size of the navy and ordered them to be captive more colonies in the Americas. In 1655, they invaded and took control of Jamaica, which at that point was part of the Spanish Empire. This was a significant event as it resulted in an increase in trade. Sugar was increasingly imported into England, and English started to engage in the transatlantic slave trade, kidnapping and transporting American people across the Atlantic. Cromwell encouraged Jewish people to move to the Netherlands to England. Jews had previously been persecuted and were forced out of England in 1290 by King Edward I. Many Jewish people who had suffered persecution in Spain and Portugal moved to Amsterdam, which helped to turn the city into one of the world's busiest ports. This had contributed to the Netherlands prostitution economy. Cromwell hoped to see these Jewish businesses, which might bring financial advantages to England and help the countries to rival the Netherlands economy. success at the time of expanding international trades.